Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio, and today we're going to talk about fun stuff. That's what it's going to be. I want you to stay with me on this video because it is so cool. This is the new Fyne Audio SuperTweeter. I'm going to tell you about it and how you can use it with a wide array of speakers. But before I go there, I want to say I'm in big shit because I've been dinking around with this, and I'm supposed to be picking my wife up. She's waiting for me. We're going to go see Neil Young and Crazy Horse with Nils Lofgren sitting in down in San Diego. So I got a long drive ahead of me, so I'll make it. All right. So this is a Tannoy SuperTweeter. This is a Fyne Audio driver and a Fyne Audio SuperTrax Supertweeter. So let me give you a little history thing real quick, and you got to know this. But first I want to say, make sure that if you end up wanting to get one of these, if you have a local dealer, find out, because they're opening up a lot more dealers now in the U.S., Fyne Audio is, and they got to be supported, right? Of course, I love selling you stuff here, and we work really hard. It's hard to stay in business for anybody in this business, right, in this industry. It really is. And if you have a local dealer and they sell Fyne Audio, go there, buy it from them, because it's the right thing to do, right? These guys work hard. At least I hope. Everybody works hard. So here's what happened. 2015, Tannoy was sold to Behringer. Uli Behringer owns Behringer Corporation. It's a big company. They have a factory in China that some people call it Behringer City. And he works in pro audio. He's known as what they call a disruptor. He's a very smart man, and God bless you. But the management team at Tannoy, they left. And so that meant Dr. Paul Mills, the man who was working on this, the managing director. In fact, Dr. Paul Mills had been there for decades, right? The managing director, Angie Sansa, Max Mod, who was actually technically not an employee, but still was part of the main team. 5 of these guys got together. People were just throwing money at them saying, "You guys are the Beatles. Are you kidding me? You've got to start a company." And after a while they go, "Oh, I guess we are all that." Right? I mean, and God, they are so wonderful. They are so, they're not like me. I mean, I got a big mouth. These guys are just humble and kind and beautiful and hardworking. I called the factory and I said, "Well, come on, is Dr. Mills really there?" And they go, "Yeah, you want to talk to him?" They put him on camera like that. They can't get him out of the factory. He might have built this. He loves to build stuff in his downtime. It relaxes him to build crossovers or build drivers. This might have been done by his hand. I mean, the guy's a genius. He likes cryogenic treating. They bought him a cryo lab. I mean, it's just so cool. So what's the deal with this, right? Well, I'm a big fan of dual concentric drivers. That's what Tannoy calls their speakers, right? And the beauty of them is this, that you have a tweeter that's mounted right back in the center here, way back. The high frequencies come out. They're controlled by this waveguide, then controlled by the cone. And there's a couple of really great things that happen from that. One of them is phase coherence, and that means the timing between frequencies. If you have poor phase coherence, it's very audible. Your brain gets confused because it's trying to reconcile this tweeter and that mid-range and that woofer. And that doesn't happen here. You're playing music back the same way it's recorded. And what he wanted to do was improve on that concept in what he calls isoflare. And man, what he did, I just frickin' love it. He completely redesigned this idea and using new materials for the high frequency driver and where it's mounted. I mean, this is supposed to be, look at this. This thing weighs a ton. I'm not even gonna, I guess this is supposed to be a neodymium in the back. I've seen neodymium done before, but it's usually like little magnets, and this is not. Then the waveguide has been changed, and he's crossing over the drivers at a lower frequency. So this is crossed over at 750 hertz. That means a lot more information is coming right out of the center. A lot more right out of the center. So now you have this amazing phase coherence, and the amplitude, off-axis amplitude, is just bonkers. What does off-axis amplitude mean? think about this. You're listening to music, and you move your head over a little bit, and the top end goes away, right? You've done it. Move it that way. The top end goes away. So this helps to eliminate that problem. Plus, the bass is going to be much tighter because the bass driver is not having to handle as much mid-range. How cool is that? But they wanted to come up years ago. Tannoy came up with their Supertweeter, which is a fantastic product, but it uses a dome on the front. And that's why it has these 2 screws on it. You want to be able to adjust it and get it just perfect in its pitch going up and down, because the higher up you go in frequencies, the narrower the flashlight beam becomes. Think of it as a flashlight that has that adjustment where you can spread the beam or not. The higher up you go, the narrower it becomes, right? So what did Dr. Mills do to address that? Over here, with regular speakers, he came up with a bass track system, and that eliminates problems with speaker positioning and what's called a boundary effect, because the bass is being fed out of a vent in a 360-degree pattern with something that looks kind of like this. And it's not just a cute design, it has to be done all mathematically. That is the beauty of what he did with bass tracks. So he took the same principles and designed it just perfectly and filed a patent on it and got it. And what this is a 360-degree Supertweeter, right? And they call it SuperTrax Supertweeter. That's what it is. And how does it work? You set it on top of your speaker. If you have a Fyne Audio speaker, you can use the template with it. If you have, and it will tell you where to place it on the cabinet. Because you don't want the tweeter to be right up on the edge. You want it to be generally to be about where the tweeter is. So it could be up on the edge, but if you've got an isoflare or a Tannoy dual concentric driver, you might want to move this back just a little bit so you get the best phase coherence that you can. But the biggest benefit of all of this, though, is what happens to the soundstage. It blows it up. I was in the sound room earlier today, and I was listening to Linda Ronstadt's Simple Dreams, and I was listening to Carmelita, you know, and I was like, okay, turn them on and off. Turn this tweeter on and off. And when we turned it off, I mean, the music just kind of shrank a little bit. When you turn it back on, whoa, whoa. You know, think of that Cowboy Junkies Trinity session, right? Think of what it would do for a recording like that to create that sense of space. It is, I think, the most exciting thing I've heard in years. But they didn't stop there with this. They wanted to make sure that this was compatible with the widest range of speakers available on the market. So if you look at the Tannoy, you've got a little screw positioner here, and it has 5 settings, from 89 dB efficient to 95 dB efficient. So you move the little screw in 1.5 decibel steps. And that's good, but it's still a little bit coarse. You know, getting great sound, getting things perfect, sometimes comes down to very, very fine details. So what Fyne Audio did is they've got a control here that is continuously variable. And you can use this with speakers from 89 dB efficient all the way up to 98 dB efficient. So it's got a little bit more swing to be used with more products. And look at the control on this. I want you to look at this metalwork. They are very, very proud of saying that this work here, I mean, the products that they make are made in Scotland. This metalwork is made in a little boutique factory in Glasgow. I mean, how cool is that, right? I mean, I love it. I mean, Glasgow, Scotland, not Guangdong, China. I mean, that's what's really, really bitchin'. And then one more thing. Don't forget, this is coming out in black, right? They're going to have other sized ones, they're going to have different color ones, and they're going to put screws on the back. So if your speaker has a slope to it that could affect the performance of this, you'll be able to raise up the rear of the speaker to keep it flat and performing perfectly in your sound room. Bitchin', huh? I want to talk to you, though, about the dome that they're using. This is called TPCD, and that is thin ply carbon diaphragm. And if you look at it, it looks like there's little tape streaks on here. I don't know what it is. There's a white paper. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put the white paper in the description of the video, and I'm going to put it on our website. And I just want you guys to read all about this because it talks about it. It talks about how people think that their hearing is just limited to 15,000 hertz or 12,000 hertz, and I don't have anything beyond that, right? I was listening with Ken, my store manager, and he has some high frequency loss. I mean, pretty serious. Yet he heard this. He sensed it, and he sensed the improvement because your body can pick it up. Your body can sense it. Go look at that video of that guy that was deaf who listens to music through a balloon. Have you ever seen that video? Go seek it out. Go seek it out because your body indeed can sense music that you think doesn't even exist. Oh my God. Now, what if you have a regular speaker? Because this is a beautiful walnut finish with this amazing inlay and burl on the front. They're coming out with one in black. And it's going to be there to be used with all kinds of speakers all over the place. As long as the speakers have an approximate sensitivity of 89 to 98 dB, it's going to rock your world. It doesn't even start working until 16,000 hertz, and it goes all the way up to 60,000 hertz. It's incredible. So look, come to our beautiful store in Southern California. We will play it for you here. We'll have a great time with you. But if you have a local dealer, go have a great time with them because I'm sure that you've got a great dealer that's just waiting to help you. Thanks for shopping Upscale Audio.